always wanted to start with 3D printing and don't know how to start? Keep watching. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about 3D printing and how to start your own 3D printing factory. Well, it's not going to really be a factory, but it's a machine that is going to work for you. But to start with 3D printing, you need a few things to get started. You need a laptop or a PC. If you already have that, that's fine. Because I started with 3D printing with an old laptop and it worked fine. So you don't really need a brand new laptop. But if you don't have a laptop, I got several laptops that are maybe good for you. You have to choose which one you want to going to use for your product. Blah blah blah. Okay. I'm going to put some links in the description with some very good and low value laptops that are good enough for 3D printing. For this occasion, because my YouTube channel is international, I'm going to use some material from Amazon. For example, this Lenovo IdeaPad 15.6 inch HD high performance laptop PC. You can also take the other one. Just a moment, my mouse is going to go to the other screen. Then I also have an Aspire E15 Full HD laptop, also an i3 Intel Core processor. This also is a great laptop to use in your 3D printing. Then I also have another Lenovo laptop, and those three laptops I'm going to put the link in the description. You can also search on Google to find some other laptops or PCs, but just like I said, you can also use your own laptop if you have one, or a PC. That's perfectly fine. When I started with 3D printing, my laptop, an HP of 2012, was very good. It was a bit old, but I could use it for 3D printing. I had a card reader, which is very useful to get all the G code on a memory card and then put it on your 3D printer, because most printers, they have USB connections that you can connect your 3D printer with your laptop or PC. But my recommendation is to use a micro SD card and use it in the 3D printer, because if your laptop crashes and you have it connected with an USB, then also your print is going to fail. I had one older 3D printer which I'm going to give some reviews about it. It messed up very much, because I had several prints that were going to be okay, but because of a power failure or something else, the print stopped and didn't continue. So that was a very bad thing. So always make sure that if you are going to use your laptop on the 3D printer with an USB cable, make sure that you have your laptop settings that it doesn't shut when you're printing. Some prints you can do in 4 or 5 hours, or maybe less than 1 hour. That's perfectly okay. But there are also some prints that take several days. And in this case, I recommend to use these kind of cards to do your 3D printing. It doesn't need to be a very high of gigabyte. In this case, it's an 8 gigabyte card. you put your G-code from the laptop in your 3D printer, then you start your 3D printer with G-code that is on this SD card. But I'm going first recommend some 3D printers. So in the first case, just show the picture. This is the Anet A8 Autoleveling 3D printer. It's a Prusa i3 DEY 3D printer. This is a 3D printer that is self-leveling. The thing is, with 3D printers, you always need to make sure that your bed is perfectly level. If this is not the case, your prints are going to fail. Why? Sometimes the nozzle is too close to your print bed, which causes that your nozzle is going to be clogged, so no filament is coming out again, and your printer is going to be damaged. It's not working fine. So you always make sure that your bed level from the 3D printer is okay. Sometimes you can use some paper to just put between it and then make sure that it's level. If that is done, you can start printing. But in this case, this 3D Anet printer has an auto leveling system, and it makes sure that your prints are going to be good on the bed and doesn't fall off or something else. Then the next printer, it's a little bit smaller printer. It's a tiny printer. The print volume is a 120 by 120 millimeters. It's a very small one, but it doesn't mean it's a bad printer. This printer, it's recommended by a lot of people on the internet. I also saw some reviews about it. It's a very good printer to start. It's not so very expensive. You can start 3D printing with this printer. As you also can see in the description or in the title, there are some free samples of PLA filament and a micro SD card preloaded with printable 3D models. So like I said, it's very good to have this. Sorry. Yes, there I am. So it's very good to have this kind of printer which have already some preloaded 3D printable models. I also have one. This model came from my EndTree Pro. It was stopped by something, I don't know, still don't know why, but it stopped printing. Other prints did work perfectly, like this model. You can also find it on Thingiverse. It's a lattice torture cube. As you can see, the printing is perfectly fine, no stringies. It's the plastic is looking really nice. So I also have some other things printed, but some prints are not here at this moment. So let's continue with my favorite one of all of the printers I selected. That is the EndTree 3D printer with resume printing function. And what does it mean? If there is a power cut or power failure, then this printer is going to continue printing after the power gets on. So in this case, if my printer didn't print it because of a power failure, well, it's going to continue. Like you can see, yeah, here Remain part resume printing after power on. So this is very good to have. Like I said, I have an EndTree Pro, so that means that the bed has a magnetic bed like this. You can take it off. You can take it off, and then the print is from the bed, and you can take it right off, like I said. So then I have also the Vinci 2.0 Duo 3D printer. It's a enclosed printer, but it does exactly the same. But in this case, it has two extruder nozzles. So that means you can print in two different kind of colors, but you can also print with a normal PLA filament and also a dissolvable filament to print supports. What does that mean? Some parts need support, and if you print support, you need to take the support off. I just have a very good example. Just a little rule in 3D printing. Just go to just a little rule in 3D printing. You cannot print in thin air. This means if you are going to print this piece, yeah, the plastic needs to be laid on something. If nothing is on the ground, then all this plastic, because it is molded plastic, molded PLA, it just drops down and nothing happens. So your print is going to fail. So that's why you need those supports that you saw here on the back. Yeah, and you need to take that off. Some parts of the 3D model are very thin. So if you take the supports out, that means that your model is going to be damaged. So in this case, in this case of printer, you can use two different kind of filament, or one type of filament PLA and the other one dissolvable support. So when you start 3D printing and it's done, then you take the supports out by just using water, and your prints are almost done. So you have a computer or a laptop. That topic we already discussed. You saw some 3D printers that you can use to start 3D printing, but then you also need some plastic, PLA or ABS, the most common used plastics for 3D printing. You can, when you are on Amazon and you are ordering there your 3D printer, you can also use the same shop to buy some filaments. And in this case, I've got some filaments from Amazon Basic Premium PLA 3D printer filament. Most 3D printers have or 1.75 millimeters or 2.75 millimeters, and in this case I've selected the 1.75 millimeters. But if you have a different kind of 3D printer selected, which have a different kind of diameter in filament, then you just search for that kind of size. So what the nice thing is, some brands use different kind of spools. I don't know if this is the correct word. Where's my mouse? I'm always looking for the mouse. Okay, there it is. So as you can see, some printers, some filaments brand have an indicator that they are using to so that you can see how much how much length you still have on your roll. You can also use some measurements in the slicer software, how much meters or centimeters you use from that kind of filament. If you write it down, you can still see how much that you have or that you used. So for a 1 kilograms of filament, there you have 240 meters of PLA plastic in this case. Usually the temperature from PLA filament is somewhere between the 190s till 200 degrees, and you always need to check on the spool which kind of temperature this kind of filament is going to be used for. Sorry. So in the description is for this kind of filament the link. You can also go on Google, search for a filament for the diameter that you need to have for your 3D printer, and yeah, once that arrives, you have your computer, you have your 3D printer, you have your filament. You almost can start with 3D printing. You only need just one more thing, and that is a slicer software. Because on sites like Thingiverse or My Mini Factory, you can have a dozen of kind of 3D prints. Just a second, I'm going to show you one. So, like I said, you want to start with 3D printing, but you don't have any clue what you can print. Well, you can print basically anything. You can print small things like just this cute little doggy without a top of that. You can also use print some things to put this USB stick in, or for even your memory cards. You can print anything. You just find it on sites like Thingiverse or My Mini Factory. Well, yes, I agree, accepting the cookies. Well, and this thing, you can also see that you can print with flexi filament. So this for something else, but here are some things that you can start printing with. Well, if I look for some, calibration. One of the things you can start with your 3D printing adventure are printing some calibration. Calibrations are tools or models that you can use with 3D printing. You download them from Thingiverse or My Mini Factory, and what you do is you're going to slice it with your slicer software with the recommendations that the creator of this type of 3D model is going to you have to put it in your slicer software. So let's see for some, like this little calibration cube. You select it, and then you see that that he designed his own 20 by 20 by 20 millimeters calibration cube. So he doesn't really say anything in which kind of settings, so I'll look for something else. But usually most of these models are with normal settings like 2.0 millimeters printing height and infill of 10% or something like in this kind of way. Load more, a few more. okay, this calibration temple, for example. Well, let's see. So yeah, a little summary, thing details. Does he write here anything? No, also not. Okay, well, also nothing on this. Okay, most of the time the creators of these models use a little readme text file which says in which kind of settings that you need to print those things. Wow, when you want to find something you don't get it. Well, you can look for those kind of files, models. Some models have already some dimensions, and if they doesn't work, oh well, here, let's say it like this. This is just a sheet of plastic with different kind of challenges for your 3D printer. It also says what it is going to be or how it should look like. Now fast, like he says here, a 4 to 5 minute print. And also here, just exactly what I mean, he has in this description, he has all things set up like how it should be. If it is a little bit different, then you know that you have to adjust your printer just a little bit. Then we also have a site like my mini factory, also great with printing. Like you can see here different kind of things, a lion or a little bust or some other great models. You can do whatever you like with this 3D printing. You can print basically anything. You can start real small with little things just like I showed you before, but you can also print bigger things, and in some cases you need to glue things together. You can use rapid glue, or you can use some other things to glue plastic together. I didn't do that much, but I know you can glue plastic. So, but then if you have the models, then you still need to have a slicer software. I highly recommend to use Cura 4.0. It's an easygoing slicer software. You can use some manuals, but this piece of software, it has some settings. This description, I'm going to put a link of the download in the description, so you can print this. You can download the software, just install it, and then you can start your 3D printing. I'm going to show you the software. Just a moment. Just a moment. Ultimate Cura. Okay, so I'm going to start Cura. In another video I'm going to show how you need to set all settings in Cura to make some 3D printing. I see that some things are going to be loaded. Just a second. So this is Cura. Like I said, it's already have some basic settings like 0.2 millimeters in layer height. The infill is 20% and support are on. So meaning I can print whatever I like. In this case I can, for example, put the 3D models. Here the lattice cube 3D files, and just like this, and I can say slice and it is going to print. Like you see, this is just exactly the same kind of thing I printed without any supports. As you can see, so this is a 3D cube, and its line is in a degree of 45-degree angle. So meaning for this kind of prints, everything higher in a degree, I can print without any problems. As you can see, when he starts printing here, it can fall down, you know, but he doesn't do that. So he is going further up without any problems. So a little wrap up for this video. Yes, you can 3D print. You need a laptop or a computer. You need a 3D printer. You need some filament, and you need a slicer software. If you have all those 5 things, you can start your own journey with 3D printing. It's not that hard to do 3D printing. It's just a nice adventure. Myself, I was starting with 3D printing last year. It's very nice to do 3D printing. It costs some time, but if you are looking for a new hobby, or you want to have some great experience with 3D printing, it's really nice to do 3D printing. Okay, that was for today's video. I hope to see you next time. Bye bye, and don't forget to subscribe and put on the notifications. Thanks for the like.